Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Special Envoy to US Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner in Washington on Tuesday. He is also expected to meet Donald Trump, and this will be the 7th meeting between Donald Trump and Netanyahu since the US president returned to the office last year. They also met in Jerusalem in October last year when Trump announced a ceasefire in Gaza. Wednesday's meeting comes days after Iran and the United States held talks in Oman, after which Trump said another round of negotiations would follow. The discussion is also expected to focus on energy issues and deregulation.
Tomorrow here at the White House, the president will host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for a bilateral meeting. The remainder of the week will be focused on energy and deregulation.
Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani held a telephonic conversation with US President Donald Trump on Wednesday. The Emiri Divan said that the two leaders discussed efforts for regional de-escalation and stability. The call comes ahead of a meeting between Trump and Netanyahu, where the Israeli Prime Minister is expected to press him to widen US talks with Iran to include curbs on Tehran's missile arsenal. And Jessica Taneja joins us with more. Good afternoon, Jessica. Now, in Netanyahu's 7th meeting with President Trump, Iran is high on agenda. Tell us the significance of this meeting between the two and considering the expectations of Trump from Iran.
Well, in the recent past, we've seen the tensions around in West Asia with the USS Abraham Lincoln, which was deployed last month. And there has been a build-up of various other warships. In total, we're given to understand more than 7 warships, and another aircraft carrier strike group is on its way to join the USS Abraham Lincoln. So that is a security build-up in West Asia. But if you talk about the deal and the possible talks on Iran giving up its uranium enrichment as well as its nuclear weapons program, along with its ballistic missile program, which has been the demand of the Israelis for a very long time. Now, this meeting, the 7th one of United States President with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is significant in more ways than one, because it is the most number of times the American president has met any other head of state in the last 1.5 years since he became or was elected the president of the United States. So perhaps given the current geopolitical circumstances that are at play, the concerns for the Israeli side, as you read through and understand from the political spheres within Israel, is that Donald Trump would want a deal more than he would want an outcome. And the outcomes, according to the Israeli government and the far-right government, which has been pressing Benjamin Netanyahu to come with a deal, is to ensure that Iran gives up its uranium enrichment program, and as well as its ballistic missile program, and also stop funding its proxy groups, both Hamas and Hezbollah, which have in the previous past, you've seen they have been dismantled quite a bit, with the Israelis striking both Hezbollah and Hamas in various other locations. So with this meeting, the Israeli Prime Minister is also signaling that he has come with an agenda, and that agenda is pretty much clear. That is to restrict Iran. Otherwise, if you look at what the Israelis are mulling, at this point, they haven't ruled out any kind of military action if Iran refuses to give up its nuclear weapons program or its uranium enrichment program. So there's a lot that is in the picture right now, apart from the ones that were mentioned by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. But if you see the meeting and how it proceeds in the coming days, it'll be important to see what the outcomes are with the build-up in Iran, and as you mentioned about the meeting that the Iranian officials had for the first time since the US had struck 13 locations of nuclear facilities within Iran, also called as Operation Midnight Hammer, which was last year in June. And this is the first time they met last week, and in Oman, the talks remained inconclusive. So there's a lot of sort of discrepancy and also not much clarity as to what the talks between United States and Iran would be, especially when it comes to its nuclear program. And there are various other talks suggesting otherwise, but we'll wait for these outcomes in the meetings. But for the Israeli Prime Minister, it's extremely important, apart from just talking about the ceasefire plan, which is in the 2nd phase, and with that also not going according to plan and timelines, is a bit of a concern, not just for Gaza, but also for others who had joined with the Board of Peace That meeting also happens next year. So a lot happening in terms of what is to be done in the West Asian region. And we're keeping an eye on that.
Thank you, Jessica, for joining us and getting us the latest on this.